What's up guys, Chris here with TrakFitness Reviews. So I love cable work. I've been training with cables for over a decade, and personally I attribute a lot of my growth to using them. But over that time I've also dealt with a lot of wrist and elbow strain, and most of it wasn't from the actual exercises, it was from the attachments. So in this video I'm breaking down 8 intelligently designed ergonomic cable attachments that have helped make my training more comfortable, more enjoyable, and ultimately more effective. If you've ever been taken out of a set because your attachments felt awkward or uncomfortable, you're in the right place. Let's get to the video. Okay, so I love cable work, and in turn, I also love cable attachments. For me, having variety is a spice of life. And in this case, having a variety of cable attachments to play with keeps my training fresh and exciting, which I'm sure we can all agree is quite important. Now, I also like my attachments to be comfortable, or else why would I enjoy using them? These 8 attachments that I'm about to list are heroes in this little gym. They cause me little to no wrist or elbow strain, and they're an absolute joy to use. That said, if you have anything that you'd like to add to this list, let me know in the comments. Your suggestions are genuinely appreciated, and they shape future videos. And if any of the mentioned attachments do interest you, I'll attach links below in the description. But okay, without further ado, let's get to the first item. Okay, number 1 is the THEFITGUY single tricep rope, which is pretty much half of a traditional rope attachment, but with a comfortable and bright red grip. Why is this here? Well, I'm glad you asked. I find it to be especially useful for correcting imbalances. For example, my left tricep has dominated my right tricep for years. It's bigger, it's badder, it's totally out of proportion. It's always been in control, and I've always hated it for that reason. So enter me, desperate to right this wrong, and I've been using this attachment almost exclusively for single arm tricep extensions and single arm tricep pushdowns, and it's actually been working. This attachment lets me directly address this imbalance because it really is just that comfortable. The grip is great, it's tough, it's awesome, I love it. Check it out. Okay, I'm pretty stoked about number 2 on this list because this is probably my favorite new addition to this gym. Number 2 would be the TrakHandles by TrakFitness. So unlike standard D handles that lock your wrist and elbow into one path, the TrakHandles spin in your hand, they tilt forward and back, and they essentially move with you. There's no wrist torque at all. They coordinate with whatever you're doing. Could be curls, flies, lateral raises. Everything feels natural, almost like these things are some bizarre extension of your actual arms. They're also super light, nothing bumps out of the design to hit your wrists or your forearm. The grips are rubber, but I've actually really grown to appreciate them. These handles are not cheap, but they are by far the best D handles I have ever used, and in my opinion, are very much worth the cost. Okay, number 3 is a bit odd. So, like any rational human being, I'm totally obsessed with building big lateral delts. Honestly, I've always struggled to really feel my delts when performing lateral raises, which is kind of the workhorse movement pattern for their development. Now, one of the few ways that I can feel them is by doing cable lateral raises, specifically with ankle straps fastened to my wrists. And the ankle straps that I now use are these GymReapers ankle straps. Previously, I owned a cheap $10 pair. They were fine, but I never actually wanted to use them because they weren't very comfortable. These are way more comfortable and certainly much better made. GymReapers in general, I think is just a great company. I already have a lot of their stuff, and I think these are another example of their consistent craftsmanship. These straps are well padded, they come in all kinds of cool colors, and now I use them all the time. Great product. My shoulders thank you, GymReapers. Highly recommended. Okay, number 4 remains one of my favorite attachments of all time, and that would be the Spiral Strength Tricep rope. Now, this is a cool attachment for a number of reasons. Number 1, this peculiar rubber cone-like design is wildly comfortable and easy on the elbows. The grip is top-notch, it's almost sticky. In a good way, yes, sticky can be a good thing. I know what I said. Second, it has this little pulley system that allows the rope to oscillate back and forth. That means you can do unilateral work in addition to bilateral work. In fact, before I got my hands on that, the TheFitGuy single tricep rope attachment, this is what I used to isolate my right tricep. Now I mainly use it for lat prayers, for tricep extensions, push downs, and of course, hammer curls. It's actually a really diverse attachment once you start playing with it. The only downside would be the price. It isn't cheap. And because of that, I'm supplying a budget-friendly alternative. It isn't the same, but it's still nice, and I'm still happy to have it in my arsenal. And that would be the HXD tricep rope attachment. It's a different design, but it's still pretty awesome. I had this before I had the Spiral Strength Tricep rope. The handles are really comfortable, though there's certainly no sticky cones, and you can buy them in 2 separate pieces if you want to perform unilateral work. But anyway, both are good options. Check them both out, make a decision if you want to. There you go. Okay, 5th on this list is kind of a 2-parter. So I loved the original Most Grip. I think it's a seriously underrated cable attachment. I featured it in my top 5 best lat pull down attachments video, or whatever I called it. It was the star of the show, the belle of the ball. I loved it, and I still do. Super underrated, criminally underrated piece of equipment, in my opinion. But I might, and I do emphasize might, enjoy this second upgraded iteration of their lat pull down bar even more. That remains to be seen, but for now, I am classifying it as a contender. This updated version has a variety of new handholds, some of which I think work better than others, but I always find it fun to experiment, and ultimately, each feels really comfortable anyway thanks to that same non-slip rubber coating that has become so popular on these pieces nowadays, and a paddle-like design that I think really allows you to connect with your back. I really like it. Because for me, generally, the less I grip the bar, or in this case, the attachment, the more I can focus on really engaging the target muscle, and I think this allows for that. And this second version also comes with a second attachment, a close grip V handle, which is also pretty nice, though I don't use it as much as its bigger brother. Again, I'm not totally certain that I prefer this over the original. I'll include both below, but there are some really unique handles here that the previous model did not have. Awesome company, keep at it, Most Grip. I see you. Okay, number 6 on our list is a shameless knockoff of the Prime Rotate handles. Meet the next best thing, or maybe the same best thing, because honestly, I can't tell the difference. These are the Korikahm paddle grips. I've paired them with Korakahm's short bar, and so now I get to have all the fun of the Prime Rotate handles at a fraction of the cost, because the price difference here is astounding. And if you're asking me, I have not a clue why anyone would seek out the Prime Rotate handles when these already exist. They have the same paddle-like design, the same cool green, all the same awesomeness. To me, this is like diet soda. I only ever drink diet soda, so I don't even know what regular soda tastes like. All I know is that diet soda, when I choose to drink it, is really good. So do yourself a favor, have a diet soda, save a fortune, go for these over the Prime Rotate handles. They're a staple for all kinds of awesome back movements, and they are going to look sick dangling on your wall, and they feel super comfortable because they have the same Prime Rotate design, that same clever paddle-like design, which was clearly adopted here. Check them out, Korikahm for the win, they're great. Okay, this attachment I initially heard of on Garage Gym Reviews, and I thought it might be a little gimmicky, but I was wrong. Number 7 is a Spud Inc. long strap, and I love this for weighted ab crunches, which are probably one of, if not the best, exercise for progressively overloading the abdominals. I also find it to be pretty darn good for lat prayers because it really lets you stretch the lats and move your arms back around your waist. It's also fantastic for face pulls and pretty much any kind of tricep work that you can think of. This does not look fancy, but it's shockingly comfortable and extremely tough. I've had it for quite some time now, at least a couple years, and it has not frayed at all. If you're looking for a dynamic rope-like tool that is very different and very nice, this is worth your attention. Okay, last is an OG in this gym, and that would be the Angles 90 attachments, which I personally pair with the Darko Shorty bar, but you can combine them with a variety of attachments. There is something about the general shape of these things that just feels so right, which to me is a sign of a really thoughtful design. The feel, they have that, and they're super small and versatile, and they're not overly expensive. Now, I favor them for rows, but you can use them for pull-ups, for lat pull downs, whatever your imagination so desires. I have them in their characteristic bright orange, but apparently they sell them in black now, which is tempting and cool, so if you don't have them, you get to decide. So yeah, at the end of the day, this list really comes down to one thing. Comfort drives consistency. I love cable training, but I've learned the hard way that if an attachment beats up your wrists or your elbows, or it doesn't feel comfortable, it doesn't matter how effective the exercise is on paper, you're probably not going to stick with it, or at least I wouldn't. Every attachment in this video earns its spot because it feels good to use and it lets me train the way I want to. Now, this is obviously my list based on my training and my gym, and I know there are a ton of great attachments out there, so again, let me know in the comments, what would you add to this list? I'm always looking for new cable attachments, new excuses to spend money, so help me out. Otherwise, if you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for more lists and more equipment reviews. I've got some really cool stuff coming in. Otherwise, you guys stay strong, you stay steely, and I'll catch you in the next one. Adios.